What's up, y'all? Welcome to Storytime, presented by Suge Me the Mooney. I'm Suge, and I'm here about to tell you a story about a girl fight. So, I was scrolling through Twitter, and I saw this tweet that it said, "What's the most chaotic episode in reality TV history?" So, of course, like a lot of people like responded, and a lot of people have videos, or they say what episode, but like I went in there and I went through every single one of the results, all the quoted tweets, all the replies, all of that. Looked at the videos, and a lot of them had like making a band face, but the most prominent show I saw on there was Bad Girls Club, and all like the wild fights I had. And it's crazy because it like took me back in time, because I started thinking about a fight that I actually seen in person that I wish that I caught on video, because it's so vivid, the memory of it. Um, but see, back then, like if I had like my iPhone, like you would have got like perfect, you know, 1080p, 4K video with like the phones everybody got now. But like the phone I had back then, I had like an Android like 3D phone, and it's like, yeah, like a phone that has like 3D. It sounds like, you know great, but it really wasn't. So I couldn't really take like good pictures or videos on it. I had to just take what I got. And just to give like some background, like, in college I had like two, best friends. And one of my best friends, me and him was like basically like attached to the hip, because we knew each other longer. Um, but we brought in like our third friend, and like, since then all three of us have been like really really tight. So we used to do our regular share of like partying, and like in college you get into all of those like all of that stuff you see in movies. Like you really and truly end up like really doing, like it's really really fun when you go to college, and you're out there on your own. You're like 18 to like 22 years old, and a lot of like fun great stuff happens. It was a good great experience at the time. So we used to hang out with like these girls and stuff like that, and they're cool as hell. And this one day, we every day used to have like a routine that whoever was like available, whoever in our class, like I think like our dinners were like 4 to like 6 or 4 to 7. So whoever was like available to go to dinner, or like we'd all go together as a group, or we go to lunch together as a group, and we just, or like back in our dorms, like this year actually, I didn't have like a regular dorm. We had like kind of like a suite, which was like a little apartment. You had like a living room, and everybody had their own room. It had two bathrooms and a kitchen. So a lot of people used to hang out in our room, in our suite. So this particular day, it happened to have this girl. She gonna was new, and nobody really knew about her. But then people got to know her, and then she got involved in social circles, and like she was like, a bit annoying to people at that time. And one of our homegirls that we was cool with, we was cool with like a few of them, but mainly like two. And she was one of them. She, this other girl, like we um brought her in. The first girl, like this is gonna be crazy because I'm gonna have to like dance around saying people's like names so I don't get in trouble. But like you know, if they see this, cool. What's up? How y'all doing? Either way, like it's a funny story to me. So it's part of my life, so I'm telling the story. Um, so they were hanging out with like this dude that was around campus, like this black dude, and I guess like one night, like let's just call the girl that was in our circle girl one, and let's call the girl who was kind of annoying girl two. Um, so girl two and her friend were like kind of hanging out with this dude one night. And this guy kind of like, I guess during the night, kind of like was like, oh, like, me and girl one like messed around, blah, 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 blah. So girl two, she was kind of like immature at the time. So she was kind of like, I guess she went around and started like talking, spreading that mess out, like her and this guy like messed around, which is could have been true, could have been not true, whatever. That's between them. But it's just wild that like, you'd be telling, you know, talking about a situation that involves somebody that's not you, but she thought that was like the cool thing to do, and that would be like endearing to, you know, the people around like our little stupid ass school. So it came upon us one day, like lunch at our like cafeteria was like I think between like 11 and 1, so or 11 and 2. So we got together at lunch, um, and us and girl one had lunch together, and me and my one homeboy, and then he had to go to work. So I think he went to work like 2 to 4, and then she had to go to class, and I think I had to go to class. So then we met back up around like 4. Um, and actually him and our third homeboy, he worked in the same spot. They worked at like the gym for the school, and they switched shifts. I mean, not they changed shifts with each other. Like, when my first homeboy was done, my other homeboy came in, and these was like little 2 hour shifts. So I think my one homeboy, his shift was like 2 to 4, and my other one, his was like 4 to 6. So us and the girl, we went to our suite, and we was just like chilling, watching TV, eating, like, you know, talking and like chilling basically. And she was like, she had to go to her spot, like her room or whatever, to change and shower or whatever for dinner. And she went about her business, and then me and my homeboy, we went to dinner, which, like I said, was like 4 to 6 or 4 to 7. And we met the other girl. Well, at the initial lunch, girl one kind of told us like, "Yo, she's looking for like girl two because like girl two was like talking about her." So then at dinner, we saw girl two, and she kind of was like flowing like we told her, it's like, "Yo, like like girl one is like mad at you because you're telling." You're talking all this stuff about her, blah 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 blah. And again, like she thought it was cool to just be on the defensive. I mean, not the defensive, I guess like the offensive, to be like, oh, like, nah, like I don't care what, if she wanna say something to me, she could say something to me, like I'm beat her ass, blah 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 blah. So we was like, all right. And then we went back to our dorm, and while girl one was at her dorm, she, she was showering, whatever, whatever. I think we told her like, yo, we're gonna meet like our homeboy at, the at the gym, when he finishes, all of us could go to dinner before it closes, like 6 o'clock, 6 to 7, get that little last hour. So we get there, we're chilling, we're watching TV, we're talking, stuff inside the gym, like lifting weights and stuff like that. Like, regular old stuff, just waiting till this dude like finishes out with his shift. And we see girl one walking by. So the we walk out of the gym, and like the gym and like the cafeteria was like in the same building. It had like the gym, the basketball court, the bookstore, all this thing. So it was like the main building where the school was at. And right outside the cafeteria they had like a little like fast food spot. If you didn't want to go into the cafeteria and sit down and eat, like you just go and like grab food. They had like one of those little spots outside of the cafeteria on like the first floor. So the gym was on the second floor, and it had like this big old long hallway. Um, and on the side you could kind of see like the basketball court, and it kind of had like a running track on top. And she comes in, and we were getting ready to tell her like, yo, this chick says like, she don't care. Like we was gonna tell girl one that girl two said like, she don't care, like she'll beat your ass, blah, blah, blah. Like I'm telling you, back then, I think I was like 21, and like my man's he was like 20. So we didn't care. Like we just was like instigators. We was like, I want to see if they're and it was like a small food school, so it's like if people say they're gonna fight, or yo, I'm gonna beat this person's ass, blah 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 blah. It's like you kind of like, I want to see if they're really gonna fight, because people don't really like fight. So we was like instigators. So she comes in, we tell her what they say, blah 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 blah. And she was like calm, cool, and collected. It was funny as hell. And walking out, just as we're walking out, the other girl comes upstairs from like where the cafeteria and like the little fast food spot is at, like up these stairs. And she's coming out the other end, and we're at the one end, where the gym is at. So like them two start yelling at each other from across the hall, and then out of nowhere they start like they meet up like in between, or like 3/4 of the way or some shit, and they start fighting. Bang, bang, boom, boom, boom. It's just like some shit you never seen. It's like something you seen on like World Star, or like I said, it was something you seen on like Bad Girls Club. But I ain't never seen nothing like that in real life. And I'm like, damn. Like looking back on it, I'm like, damn, I wish I had like my camera phone, my iPhone, because I recorded that shit. I could have seen it for the rest of my life, and I could have shared it with y'all. But they started like fighting, and it was like some shit out of like WWE, because they started fighting like on like the low, like in a hallway, end up on like the little benches. And you know how like girls fight, like they kind of like, they grab each other's like hair, and then they kind of like just they hold the hair with one hand, and they kind of like just punch with the other hand, like they was doing that. And then they somehow, some way, they ended up like down the stairs. Like I said, it reminded me of like a 19, like a WWE Attitude Era, like backstage brawl. Like when they used to go to back, like a fight would end up in the backstage, like almost all the time, like a hardcore match. Like that's how the shit was. Like they really like went up, they went down these stairs, like hitting each other, blah 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 blah. And then like I think it kind of got to a point like me and my man's like, our entertainment was done. And we was like, yo, like we gotta like get them off each other. Like, what if they get kicked out of school, this, that, and the third? So we gotta like try to like pull them apart. Like we couldn't, they were like moving too fast for us. And then like I think like the athletic director, because like his office was on like the second floor, like he came out and he like separated the two of them, and like these random ass people just came and like separated them too. But it was just crazy. Like it was a crazy ass fight. Like it was something I never like seen before. It was like these two white girls just like beating on each other. It's crazy. Like girl number two, like I love her to death now. Like she definitely like matured a lot, and she's like a whole different person. She's like a lovely person. So I got nothing for love for it. I got nothing but love for her. Um, girl number one, we kind of like lost touch, but I hope she's doing well. But at the time, like we was like closer with girl one than we was with girl two, and it's just crazy. Her tweet, it was just like, man, if I would have caught this fight on video, this shit would have been way better than anything that you know, Bad Girls Club, Black Ink Crew, Making of the Band. Um, what else was on there? It was like all of these different flavor of love, like all of these shits. Like this fight was way better than all of this. And if you don't believe me, like whatever. But if you know me from school and you could kind of decipher who the individuals are, like, and you could ask me and you could ask the individuals involved what this fight was, and definitely was how I described it. It was crazy. It was definitely like Godzilla versus like Mothra. Like these two like started off on like this hallway, and I ended up on these stairs that ended up on the first floor in front of everybody. It just came out of nowhere, and it just like it's funny as hell, like how it started. It was just like I say, it was like some reality TV bullshit. It was just like this randomized dude like talking bullshit, and people taking our shit for like gospel. But moral story is like don't talk shit. Um, because it would have been wild. What if both of them got kicked out of school off of that stupid ass fight? Because of this dude, that dude would have been chilling, and he would have been, you know, trying to get on two other girls, and maybe they would have fought. And hopefully, that time I would have had a better phone. Anyways, this has been story time with Suge.